hold this up. So I am coming here, I am a waitress. I've been working in the restaurant industry for about 20 years. I've worked in almost every type of restaurant, and I'm very lucky to work at one that's very popular and gives me a very nice income. But I do want to use my privilege to speak about, I know we're talking about the minimum wage bill, but I do think that the tip minimum wage and the minimum wage apply to restaurant workers, right? Especially ones who work in, let's say, chains that, there's a different level of type of employment that is offered in big national chains, let's say, than a locally owned business. And I can speak to that further if anyone has any questions, but I know it's late, so. I've spoken in the past about how Rhode Island has this vibrant restaurant industry that has brought a lot of jobs, a lot of businesses, a lot of people and tourists, right, to Rhode Island. And we talk about how, the calamari is our state appetizer, et cetera, but rarely do I talk about the value of the restaurant workers that power this industry that's brought so much to Rhode Island, right? I chose to be in the restaurant industry. I am not someone that had to do it because of this, that, or the other. I enjoy working in the restaurant industry. But I do believe that we all deserve to have a livable wage. Right now we're focusing on $15. As she just said, you need $20 an hour to be able to afford a 2-bedroom house, apartment in Rhode Island. So obviously $15 in 4 years is not a livable wage. And I would argue that the system that we have in Rhode Island is unsustainable because we seem to have a lot of money to give tax breaks to certain corporations that are doing things but find zero money to support the working people in our state. And I'm not necessarily saying the people in this committee. So, we were talking about the coronavirus earlier. The thing that scared me the most about, this potential outbreak is I thought, well, I'm going to lose money right now. And I do work in I live in South Kingstown, so there is a lot of seasonal business there. This is not necessarily the busiest time of year, but we've been around for 20 years, so we do have a really nice set of locals that come. But if everyone gets sick, let's say, and we have to shut down or people stop going out for fear that they're going to get sick, that will hit service industry workers the hardest. And I would argue that, yes, we do have earned paid sick time, but if we are investing in that with our hourly wage, then we don't really have a lot of money to fall back on, as well as TDI, right? If, let's say, we were out for a long extended period of time, servers don't necessarily have that as much of a backup as, let's say, somebody who's earning obviously more money. With the minimum wage, I also want to say that, people talk a lot about protecting small businesses, but like it's been previously mentioned, I do believe that the best way to increase economic activity is to put more money back into working families' pockets. It's proven that people spend more money on things that they need to exist daily, right? Instead of, having the money be saved by this executive, it actually would do small businesses better to have a larger population with more money to spend, right? So I do think that there are some speaking points that just aren't true, and we need to start rethinking the way that we invest in working families in this state. And I would just say that, again, like somebody said before, there is value in jobs, and I do believe that people deserve to feel valued in their jobs, whether or not they're the dishwasher, where if you've ever worked in a restaurant, if the dishwasher doesn't show up, it's a miserable day for everyone, right? So in a way, having a good dishwasher is the most golden trophy that you could have in a restaurant. And I'll tell you, restaurants owners do recognize that, and they do. If there's a dishwasher that does well and is good and is a great worker, then they do support him. And last thing is, again, the $20. And I just don't want to repeat myself because you all have been here for so long. So that's it. And also, I just saw a tweet where the amount of people that are actually moving into the state make more than $200,000. And actually the people who are making less are leaving the state, and I wonder if that's a reflection because they now can go to neighboring states where they get paid, at least the $15 minimum wage, especially when it comes to corporations like McDonald's, Panera. That can really help, rising tide lifts all boats, and that can really help the small individual businesses in Rhode Island, as well as the working people, which is what we're focusing on today. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Okay.
I have a quick
Okay.
question. And one comment as well. But one thing that is also good for the economy is people in poverty, then they need to go through government programs. They can make a living. So,
absolutely.
but do you know what the process is if somebody's getting cheated and they're not getting reimbursed for their lack of tips and the tip in the situation?
Well, I would say personally, I have never experienced that. That I know of.
But you're in the industry.
Right.
I think you've answered my question because you're in the industry and you don't know what the process is.
I don't know the process. And also, I work in a restaurant that I don't get paid. So if you have, there are certain restaurants that will take, let's say, the credit card money that they get, and then they write checks as, to the servers. I don't work at a restaurant that's like that. Ours is a little bit more old school that way. So I don't know what would happen. I don't even know if I would be able to recognize if that were to happen, to be honest with you.
I worked in that industry for a lot of years when I was in school, but as you said, it was good. We made a lot of tips. So,
right, and there are moments where it's also a culture, and I think that the lack of having other servers here to testify. I mean, that's one thing. They always say, oh, the servers are more of a younger generation. Well, I would like to think of myself as young, but I'm getting, so people don't think about, oh, I need to invest in Medicare, I need to invest in Social Security, I need to save for retirement. Those are things that you don't necessarily think about when you're 20 going through school, but, if we are having this great, economy in Rhode Island, then there are going to be people like me that decide to spend their professional careers in the service industry. Right? And, we have a kind of an issue with certain corporations in the state not paying their workers enough, so then they have to be eligible for Medicaid, which is, then this falls on the taxpayers. So I just think that this system is unsustainable, and I think that at least, I would argue that obviously we would need a $50 minimum wage before 2024, but if that's what we can start with, then that would be great. Do you have a question?
I just was thinking, what do you think about the businesses? Do you think they're going to add cost to their products, whatever they're selling? Do you think we're going to see that though?
Well, I would also argue, there's some bits of this that are, I think, more complicated. Let's take climate change, for instance, right? I work at a restaurant where we make everything from homemade. A crate of limes went from $30 to $60 because of drought, right? Because of climate change. So there are other things that are happening that affect the costs in restaurants anyways. I do think that maybe the model that we have is also unsustainable. Again, no one says that something has to last forever, but I do think that there's some changes that have nothing to do with the wages that are going to make running a restaurant more costly, and food is definitely one of them, right? Because if California has this drought, that's where we get the majority of our produce, right? And especially for small businesses, bigger, corporate restaurants have their own farms, have their own shipping lines, right? So they're able to do things at a value that is small businesses can't even begin to grab. So I think maybe if we start to sort of even that out to benefit the individual, local, independent restaurant owner, then that would also help as well. I've read, when there are places that have implemented a higher wage for tip workers, they actually change the way that the restaurant works so that everyone is not, there's no difference between the person that works at the counter, let's say, and then the server. Everyone gets the same wage, and then if there are cash tips, then those are split evenly. You know, and again, it is a culture thing. You walk out with a lot of money and you think, woo, you know, I mean, I love it. But at the same time, you know, there does need to be a level of stability, and that is not everyone's case, right? I'm very lucky to work where I do, and that has a lot of, that's a result of many different things, right? So not everyone does have that privilege. So I do think even, you know, 50 cents, I don't, at the end of the day, I don't think that that is going to reflect so much in the prices of things, right? So other than maybe other food costs going up. Okay?
Thank you.
You are more than welcome. Thank you so much.